Welcome back, everyone, once again to another installment of Friends and Family Month on Screenplay Rewind. I'm Jeff.
I'm Ron.
So, Ron, when we sat down for a brand new month of Friends and Family options, did you ever expect to watch a Barbie movie?
I'm going to be honest. I mean, I assumed there was probably Barbie movies out there, but I didn't actually know about them.
Not only do they exist, there are like 5,000 of them. There are a bunch. You try to find these fuckers on Just Watch, not possible, man. You get better luck at fucking tracking down the Zodiac killer. You get better like going back in time and solving the memories of murder case, man, than like finding these Barbie movies. It's crazy. There's so many of them. So yeah, I don't even know where to begin, man. We didn't have any questions this week. Ron had a question and didn't write it down.
And forgot it. Yeah.
So that's never happening.
That's me.
Yeah.
I do have another movie for the Friends and Family Month that we will reveal at the end of the
we were
episode.
having a bonus one, courtesy of your dad, right?
Bonus. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
My mom couldn't think of anything. But
That's fair.
my dad actually had one answer and then changed it. And I was going to see which one you wanted to do. I think we should do them both at some point, but one of them seems far enough up our alley that it would be like something special, like an anniversary episode or something.
Okay.
So we'll talk about it when we get there.
Yeah, so he's basically going to be giving us the option between a couple of choices. All right.
Yeah, pretty well.
All right.
He had one, and then while he was in the middle of telling me about that one, he literally stopped talking, snapped his fingers, and was like, no. And then had this one.
Interesting. Yeah, we will see. Had anything crazy happen to you? Outside of neither of us have slept enough this week, so this is going to be a terrible recording. We were going to record last night, and I was like, man, I need to get a day with at least like 7 hours of sleep because I was just kind of.
You can sleep when you're dead.
Yeah, isn't sleeping just the worst? There's so many hours in the day, and we spend like a third. Well, we're supposed to spend a third. Ron and I spend like 3 hours in total sleeping.
It's supposed to spend a third of your life asleep. What the fuck?
That's pretty.
Man?
Yeah, it's pretty. You think you'd be past that, man? Like,
what the hell, evolution?
Doesn't evolution realize I need extra time to play video games? And like,
seriously,
I need to steal some of those hours away from my like sleep requirements. It's some bullshit, man. Some actual bullshit. Yeah. So anything crazy happened to you this week, brother?
No, not really. My kids graduated kindergarten yesterday. But
okay, guys. Yeah, I saw that.
Oh,
Congratulations.
thank you. I did absolutely nothing.
Yeah. You were the brains behind the kindergarten operation?
Yep. Mm-hmm. I'm in charge, so that means I get all the credit.
I just imagine a kindergarten cop sequel starring Ron.
Oh no.
And I would watch that. I would pick that for Friends and Family. That'd be my selection.
Kindergarten cop or Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. Which one?
Why not both?
In a pinch, which one do you pick?
Kindergarten cop. Oh god, I haven't seen that fucking movie in so long. It's actually crazy.
I haven't seen either one of those movies in years, probably since they came out.
It's been a fat minute. Yeah, so let's get into it. So we are going to be. I just imagine
we just started the episode speechless.
I just imagine myself in the future, like scrolling through Google Images to try to set up this tweet for the Barbie as the Princess and the Pauper upload on Twitter, because that's just gonna be hilarious. Because someone in our Twitter follow base is gonna be scrolling through their feed and be like, "What the fuck? Why are these two grown ass men covering Barbie?" And you know what? We did.
We did
it.
We were there.
Yeah. I actually heard you watched this.
The boat.
Did you watch this in its entirety twice? I heard you might have watched this twice.
You had a problem with that?
I was just curious about why. Because I know my favorite thing about watching this movie it was the entire time knowing and like just thinking about Ron sitting down to watch a Barbie movie, and that was pretty fantastic. So what made you watch the second time? You just couldn't wait to go back for more, buddy?
I can't help it if I love this movie. I wondered how long before you would just sit there and contemplate if I'm serious or not.
Wouldn't that be awesome if we just had like a silent standoff to see how long we would let that live recording go with no one speaking?
That was my exact plan.
And then someone's just gonna be like, "Did this shit break? Did they kill each other? Did
Yeah.
there were no more expletives."
Basically, I had the rental still, and I was kind of tired the first time I watched it, and I was like, I'm still tired, but I still have time on the rental.
That's my secret cap. I'm always tired.
And I've got a lot to unlock still on Vampire Survivors, so I'm just going to throw it on in the background a second time.
Nice. All right.
That's all.
Yeah. So we are covering Barbie as the Princess and the Pauper. This is originally done in 2004, but we kind of had some struggles with like figuring out the versions because I guess Apple did like a refresh of the songs or something in 2013 that you noticed?
It says 2013 when you watch it. Everything else says 2004. And Christina looked at that YouTube version because she watched it with me, and she couldn't tell a difference in the voices or anything.
We watched the first few minutes of the Apple version and then rented the YouTube version, and there are different songs.
There's different songs?
The songs are recorded differently. They are a lot higher pitched in the original one. It was very weird. They like took the time to revamp all of the songs, basically. Yeah, it was really weird though. Is like Apple was like confused about which fucking version you're watching because you click on it in the listing and it says 2004, and then when you have it going, it switches and says like 2013.
Yeah,
really bizarre.
It has to be they tend to remix audio. I can't imagine they redid anything. It was probably an equalizer thing.
Yeah, but yeah,
I can't imagine they spent any money on this movie because Barbie sure didn't.
It was definitely changed from the original version, from what we could tell. Just watching it back to back. Yeah, so this is courtesy of Aurora, who has selected this for us. She gave me a little bit of like a rundown on like what she was basically picking this for us. So she said that as she was growing up, Barbie movies were basically like a safe place for her. She would basically kind of watch them, and she'd be able to tell like not all of them were good, but there were like this, like the fan base for the Barbie movies is actually kind of insane. Like it has a ongoing fan base to this day. Like there are like Facebook groups and shit, like active people really into Barbie.
The Barbie version of Disney adults.
Yeah, there's a bunch too.
Huh.
Yeah, and she also said she was basically picking one that was not her favorite because she knew you were going to hate it and didn't want to hear you like shitting on it. So she picked one that she likes but isn't one of her favorites. And she also wanted to get back at you for having introduced Tremors to her, and the idea of the graboids freaked her out. So she said,
"I love it."
She said, "Yeah, get fucked, Ron." So yeah, Ron had to watch Barbie as the Princess and the Pauper not once but twice, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome.
Not only could I not give two shits about Barbie, I hate the Princess and the Pauper like story.
The Mark Twain story. Have you actually read it?
I have not. I grew up with the Mickey Mouse version of it. This one kind of fixes the problems with the Mickey Mouse version, but
I've never seen the Mickey the Mouse. I was about to say Mickey as the Princess and the Pauper. I haven't seen that
movie
version.
I would watch.
Yeah, I haven't seen any other versions of the story. I honestly don't like Mark Twain that much. Every book of his I was forced to read in school. I just kind of hated. It was at least with like Charles Dickens had some like just terrible shit that is awful to read nowadays, like Great Expectations, but then he would make something cool like A Christmas Carol that I can still read to this day, and it's just like a really great concept, and isn't 800 pages long, and goes by in a flash and is really solid. I don't know of anything Mark Twain did that is actually good. It all seems to just kind of be shit. And it's like some shit just kind of gets like built into pop culture, and we're told like a lot of John Steinbeck novels, absolute trash. And we kind of just consider some of these guys just like great American classic writers, even though you go back and read them and they're terrible.
Well,
I don't get it.
It's kind of the same deal as in Hollywood. Like there's a certain segment of actors that, I mean, it doesn't matter what you think. They're famous, they're a household name because they don't stop working. There's a whole segment of authors that just keep pumping out stuff, and they just pump out enough that, we're just told they're good because they're so prolific. But Mark Twain never did anything wrong. I never really cared enough about Mark Twain to even say he was bad. It's just kind of like, well, it's Mark Twain.
I've
Charles
never
Dickens
understood the fascination with
Charles Dickens is usually so long and wordy. It's exhausting.
That's what's so weird about like A Christmas Carol.
It's so short and succinct.
A Christmas Carol is basically like the same length of a TV episode script. There's like nothing there, and I love it. It's such a breeze. It's such a wonderful concept. It led to us having the Muppet Christmas Carol. It's just a wonderful thing. I love it.
Which we are having on this show at some point.
Yeah.
Hans Christian Andersen. I always like his stuff for some reason. Not always, but there's a lot of his stuff that I like. But I never feel like I read anything when I'm done.
What was your favorite from him?
The thing that I actually have one of them on audiobook because it came with my Audible subscription. There's a whole segment of stuff that's free if you subscribe monthly. And that is The Snow Queen. I actually listen to that every once in a while. Okay. That is what Frozen's built on.
Oh, yeah. I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of nods in Frozen to that story as well.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, it's they basically took nothing from it. Like they tried, but they didn't like the direction it was going and changed the movie because Elsa is the villain, basically. The Snow Queen is the bad guy in the story. And there's actually a draft of Frozen where Elsa, after she leaves Arendelle, when she makes the giant snowman marshmallow and like throws Anna and Kristoff out, she actually makes an army of those and attacks Arendelle in one of the storyboards.
Now we're talking.
Right?
Well, I want to see that movie, man.
There's a whole draft of that movie out there where Elsa's the villain.
I just want to see like the cut of Frozen where it turns into fucking Helm's Deep, where they're just like having to defend the keep.
When Anna gets hit in the head in the beginning with Elsa's powers, you'll notice it hits her eye. That's where the kid gets the shard of glass in his eye from the demon's mirror. Later, he gets
okay.
Was it another shard of glass or was it ice from the Snow Queen in his heart also, which she gets hit in the heart with Elsa's powers? Like, there's a whole thing that they do to nod back. Even the swing at the beginning of the movie, the window washer seat that she swings on, there's a memory that you keep coming back to in the Hans Christian Andersen story about this swing, because it's about two kids. It's one kid looking for her playmate that's missing. So it keeps cutting back to the swing. So even the swing at the beginning of Frozen, the window washer seat, is a callback.
That's interesting. I didn't realize they were that like meta with their.
Oh yeah, the servants they're not named in the movie, but in the script they're named the boy and the girl from the main story. I can't think of her name, but the guy that is always like right hand to Elsa in the movie, the kind of short heavyset guy. His name is Kai. And that is the kid that goes with the Snow Queen in the story that's missing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. Anyways, Hans Christian Andersen, he has a handful of stuff that I like, but I never feel like I've read anything by the time I'm done with it, because it always just, it's like, it's interesting. It feels like it's building up to something, and then it just kind of stops. And Mark Twain, I think he's only considered good because we were forced to read it in school.
Yeah,
and,
there's
and
so many
everybody
of
knows
those.
it.
There's so many. Like it's brutal because I understand like kids kind of need to be forced into reading, but if you're gonna force kids to read, give them some good fucking material. You know?
Right.
Don't. I had to read over the summer in 6th or 7th grade the fucking what was it? It's from Steinbeck. The Pearl. Did you ever have to read The Pearl?
I know of it. I don't remember if I had to read it or not.
That thing was like 150 pages, and it might as well have been like 15,000 pages. It is so terrible, and
Well,
the
it sounds
ending
so
is
good.
And the ending is so stupid, and like what happens is so contrived and random. I remember to this day, I was just like, really? That okay.
I went through so many goddamn books in 9th grade that it all just blurs together because I did more book reports than was required because the teacher had this philosophy: if he could get you to read like one book, then he wins, basically. And he also had this thing going where you got a certain amount of bonus points for each one. And for some reason, it's English class. It's goddamn English class. But I have to make the goddamn William Shakespeare Cathedral out of toothpicks and popsicle sticks and bring it in.
Yeah, that's some
and
bullshit.
I have all this bullshit like that, all this model making and stuff. It's not fucking art. It's English class. And I was like, I don't know if you know this, but this is not my only class. And you're not my only teacher giving me homework. Like, I don't have time to make the goddamn William Shakespeare, what's it called? It's got a name. The theater. And then like one of them was the Coliseum because
the Globe.
Yes, the Globe Theater. Out of like popsicle sticks, like I don't have time for this shit, man.
Yeah.
So I was like, well,
It's so
it would
stupid.
be.
Are you saying there are potential problems with the American child educational system? Because I will not have that chat in here. That's crazy talk.
So the book reports were a online system. There was a computer set up in the back of the classroom. And after school, I would just walk in there, and it was called a book report, but it would ask you like 15 or 20 questions about the book, and they were like deep cuts on the book. Like, I learned that pretty early on, that it was going to ask me about shit that would not be in the Cliff Notes if you went to Barnes & Noble and got that little yellow and black card. So anyways, I did a bunch of those because I'm like, I'm not doing your fucking art projects, dude.
Yeah, that's some bullshit.
So I made up all my points in book reports.
I remember getting about halfway through Great Expectations.
Oh God.
I never finished it because I physically couldn't bring myself to open up that fucking novel ever again. So I just read the Cliff Notes and still like managed to just kind of scrape by because I was like, I'm fucking done, dude. I cannot read another fucking page of Miss Havisham and her fucking spider-infested cake. There's like 17 paragraphs describing the cake. I'm like, I get it. Can we? Oh, there's more. Okay.
See, this is why I was so afraid to read Lord of the Rings for the longest time. Because I was like, please don't be the type of book that takes 12 pages to describe how a leaf falls from a tree. Please, for the fuck of me, do not.
It's almost like in the 1600s, those guys had nothing better to do than just write shit. So it's like, you know what? I'm going to spend the next 5 weeks describing a puddle.
It's like they got paid by the word.
Well, in some instances, they might have.
They might have. In some
because you think about
yeah.
how like the WordPress shit used to operate. It's like, you never know. But yeah, let's get back on topic. We got some Barbie chat, man.
Oh man,
let's go. All right, so let's run through the cast and crew of Barbie as the Princess and the Pauper. As we mentioned, this came out in 2004. It was directed by William Lau. I'm quickly going to browse through his IMDb because I
a lot of Barbie.
Yeah, he looks like he pivoted to after his Barbie years. He has done several My Little Ponies. So there you go. Did some Monster High. I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is either.
Yeah, he did several Barbies.
I do know what Beast Wars and Beast Machines are.
Man, he's done almost all of the
Barbie movies.
So, Yeah, like a ton of the more like notable ones. So he seems like to be like their
Why do you sound like
their.
such an expert on the Barbie movies, Jeff? How do you know
I've
which
watched
ones of these are the notable ones?
because I recognize that. Well, I didn't realize they did a Christmas Carol one. I've watched a few of these now, and
Hang on. What's a Barbie Christmas Carol like? What does that have to be like? I can't imagine.
it better have the fucking Muppets, man.
I can't imagine she's Scrooge. Like, what the fuck is that like?
They bring back Martin Short to be Scrooge.
I'm seeing a lot of familiar names from this movie in here, though.
So did it break your brain when you scrolled back through the directorial credits and he did Beast Machines, Beast Wars, and stuff?
Which 2 episodes did he do?
The best ones.
Those are late entries. Those are season 3. Beast Machines. He did 4 of them.
I feel like I've heard of Max Steel. You ever hear of Max Steel?
I've heard of it. I don't know what it is.
Super Dinosaur. There's
It's a dinosaur with a cape. Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. There's a lot of people in here. One of them, I was in the Discord with you when I discovered who he voices. We'll get when you get far enough down, I'll tell you who it was.
Yeah. I'll let you do the cast here in a second. So it was written by Cliff Ruby and Alana Lesser. Obviously, they have to give Mark Twain an uncredited novel
If Mark
credit.
Twain only knew that he would have Barbie credits.
If Mark Twain only knew that Barbie would make his story actually watchable in comparison. Because I read some of that Wikipedia description of The Prince and the Pauper. That story sounds like shit.
I'll be curious because I did not. I only know
so
the
bad.
Mickey version. I'm curious how close the Mickey version is.
Yeah.
Because the Mickey version actively angers me.
I will pull up the vague description I got for it from Wikipedia. Why don't you go through the cast right now?
All right, for the cast, we've got Kelly Sheridan as Princess Annalise, and she, I believe, is the one that was the voice of Songo in Inuyasha. I believe she's both, right? Erica and Annalise, and then they have singing stand-ins. And then we have Mark Hildreth for King Dominic. Let's see, who else we got? What was other notable names? I'm saving this one for last because I couldn't believe it when I saw. Kathleen Barr is Serafina, which we know from Ed, Edd and Eddy.
Yeah.
She's Kevin.
Oh, shit. Really?
She
That's cool.
is Kevin. I never realized Kevin was voiced by a woman. And she's Maria
wild.
Kanker, one of the Kankers.
Did you, I was reading as you were talking, did you get to Alessandro Giuliani yet? And figure out who he voices? He voices Julian in here, but do you know who he voices outside of this?
No. That was the next one I was going to do.
The voice of Julian in this is L from Death Note.
Are you serious?
I am serious. Isn't that fucking nuts?
Oh my god, that's not even the one I was talking about.
Yeah, Aurora pointed it out to me, and I was like, no fucking way.
Aurora watches Death Note? That surprises me.
She, I don't think she's seen Death Note, but she knew that the voice of Julian was somebody like famous from a really popular anime, and I searched back through his IMDb.
I found
out that he's fucking L, and I was like, whoa, because I didn't get that from his voice at all. The guy's really talented.
Yeah, I'm skipping.
Because L is so specific.
So specific. I'm skipping one cast member for the moment. That's the last name I'm going to list.
Okay.
But Ian James Corlett, I about fell out of my chair.
Okay, continue.
37 episodes of Dragon Ball Z was Goku and Master Roshi, and in a few of the Dragon Ball Z movies, the earlier ones.
I didn't realize they ever had a different Goku.
They had like 4 or 5 different Gokus.
I just thought it was always like the main one they still have today. That's crazy.
No, a lot of the subtitle only people, it really bugs because there's one woman in Japan that specifically voices Goku and has been since the beginning.
Yeah, she's like an 80-year-old woman now.
She's like an 80-year-old lady just in the sound booth. But
which is kind of amazing.
Yeah. I think it was really noticeable when we switched to Frieza as the villain. I think that's the voice that you probably think of, and it's a drastic difference from the Saiyan Saga voice.
Oh god, what is the main Goku actor? I'm blanking.
But here's the thing that blew me away: this guy is voicing the cat that barks in this movie.
Okay.
A prominent character, right? Not one of the main characters, but in it a lot. I hear his voice a lot. He's fucking Cheetor from Beast Wars, which I'm currently revisiting with my kids.
That's
crazy. And Cheetor is in every episode. I had no idea. My head exploded. And I mean, it was the same thing when I found out fucking Sesshomaru from Inuyasha was Megatron. And then after I saw that, the next time I watched it with my kids, I heard it. I could kind of hear Sesshomaru in there a little bit. But that blew my brain too. But yeah, but dude's fucking Cheetor. He's not the voice that stood out to me. Fucking Serafina, Ellen Kennedy. No, not Ellen Kennedy. Sorry. Kathleen Barr. Being Serafina, that's the one that stood out to me. And when I saw Ed, and Eddie, I'm like, there it is. The one of the cankers.
Yeah.
But Cheetor totally went under the radar.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy when you just do like the fucking 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon shit with some of the voice actors in Hollywood, and they have done so much shit so often that you'll scroll back through their IMDb and just be like amazed at like, really, that was that dude? Because sometimes they're recognizable, and sometimes they're just not recognizable at all, like the L guy.
Right.
Just completely different voice. Never in a million years would I have guessed
the last ones that I want to point out before we get to the name I could not believe when I watched this. Melissa Lyons is the singing voice for Annalise. Julie Stevens is the singing voice for Erica. And Preminger is goddamn Martin Short, and I don't know why. Why? How many houses does he have? How many mortgages does he have?
See, this is the thing with the Barbie movies. They consistently get like a pretty well-known guy to be the villain. I don't know if I talked about it on air during the last recording when we talked about this when it was announced, but Tim Curry voices the villain of one of these movies.
I think you mentioned that.
Yeah, I believe. Oh God, there's a few others. I'm blanking on like which actors. Also, I probably should not have read the plot descriptions of The Prince and the Pauper because my eyes glossed over, and now I'm even more tired. So I should probably just yeet that.
Yeah, they did their
segment.
Absolute best to make Preminger look like an evil Martin Short as well. And then
we'll talk about it.
Yeah, and then I don't even know the name for Tweedledee and Tweedledum to even give the actors' names.
Aurora has confirmed it is Barbie in the Nutcracker that has Tim Curry.
Oh no!
There you go. I love Tim Curry.
There it is.
I'll watch anything with Tim Curry.
Anything?
Literally anything.
Even Barbie and the Nutcracker?
Even Barbie and the Nutcracker.
Oh my God.
Some of these are not terrible, by the way.
Like I said, this one fixes some of my issues with the Mickey Mouse version.
And you want to know what? I'm just going to start off this, like as far as my analysis, you know what? More effort went into writing the songs in Barbie as the Princess and the Pauper than Moulin Rouge. And that is a fucking fact.
Wow.
Because you know what? There's at least original songs happening.
I assume you know that you and my wife are no longer friends.
I will also preface this episode. This is my second favorite movie we've covered so far this month. I would rather rewatch Barbie as the Princess and the Pauper than Tammy and the T-Rex and Moulin Rouge. You would have to put me in a fucking Clockwork Orange chair to get me to rewatch Moulin Rouge. I fucking hate that movie so much.
Evidently.
Yeah.
I'm curious what Aurora thinks of it.
As of what?
Of Moulin Rouge.
She did not watch it. She ended up being gone that day. So
but has she ever seen it? It seems like something she would watch.
She has not seen it.
Okay.
Not saying this is amazing. Obviously, Barbie movies. So like the thing about it is, most of the Barbie movies are just kind of, how you were talking about like Moulin Rouge, how you just kind of like watched it in a specific manner. How you were talking about how like you felt like you kind of watched it incorrectly. I think like the Barbie movies are so inoffensive because they're just designed for 7-year-olds. I kind of like take them on that face value, and I can't really get, and it's like, it's not amazing, but it's just so inoffensive, and that is like counter to, especially like fucking Taming the T-Rex, like how like outwardly offensive that movie can be at times, where I'm actively like, fuck you movie. And Moulin Rouge was just like so focused at making me hate it 22 years later that I was like, fuck you movie. And Barbie is just there. I just watch it. It's fine. It's not for me. It's designed for 7-year-old kids. And it's just kind of there. That's like where my analysis kind of lays.
I was pretty offended.
You were so tell me how you were offended.
I did not care for the music, number one. The very first song in the opening to the movie is okay. The one that Annalise and Erica...
spoilers for Barbie's Princess
Oh my God, spoilers for Barbie as the Princess and the Pauper. For the love of God, have watched the movie before you listen. This is gonna be a fun episode. The duet that Barbie and Erica, Annalise and Barbie have a duet. Annalise and Erica have a duet when they first run into each other in the market, like Aladdin, and they that song actively angered me. Angered me. Yes.
What about it made you actively angry? Because I was not able to get actively angry at anything.
That song, they literally list reasons for why they're the same, and those are the same reasons why they couldn't be more different. Like, and then they just constantly over and over, like, I'm just like you, just like me. And I'm like, no, you're not. Like, you're a princess that hates being a princess for some reason, and you're an indentured servant, basically a slave. You two are nothing alike. Like, you're not even alike in personality. It was driving me insane, that entire song, both times, and I was only half paying attention the second time. It was actively angering me. But the rest of it, I just thought it was unnecessary. Anytime Preminger sings, by the way, I am actively tuning out.
Is that Martin Short?
And it's Martin Short. I was so sad. I was so sad for him.
I don't have an issue with his songs. Martin Short is chewing the fucking scenery so much that I kind of like enjoy his character in this.
I hate Preminger so much.
I love the fact that people can't figure out he's the bad guy when he literally looks like the Joker without makeup.
And like, it doesn't help that they apparently animated this in the Diablo 2 engine. So he looks even more demonic.
Yeah, he looks like a creature, and no one knows he's the bad guy, and that just makes me laugh.
Which angers me even more because he's clearly modeled off of Jafar, and I just cannot abide a Jafar. That's not Jafar.
I didn't get Jafar vibes off of him at all.
Oh, dude, this whole half of this movie is Aladdin.
His design. I told Aurora as we were watching it is like Lord Farquaad as fuck. I got that vibe instead.
I don't mean his Jafar. Animation design. I mean the way his character behaves and like his plan and everything. He's basically the Grand Vizier, like Jafar, and he's gonna marry the princess to become king, like Jafar. Like there's just so much going on.
There are a lot of parallels, but that also is. I honestly don't know because, like I said, my eyes glossed over as I was reading the Prince and the Pauper synopsis. So some of the shit, might just be, like maybe fucking Disney ripped off some plot elements from Mark Twain. I don't fucking know.
I mean, They usually prefer Hans Christian Andersen. They have a lot of movies that are based off of Hans Christian Andersen stuff.
Yeah, it's true.
But yeah, I don't know. There's like the whole scene with them going through the market and Annalise in a disguise and talking about how she's never been outside the palace walls and stuff was very Jasmine. There's just a whole lot of Aladdin parallels throughout the whole thing. Preminger even has his own version of Iago with the dog with the golden tooth.
Oh, like, Afro Dog?
Afro Dog, yeah.
Yeah. What is up with Afro Dog's voice, by the way?
I do not know.
He's like, I think, supposed to be doing like, what would you say, like kind of like a New York kind of mobster voice, but he's really bad at it.
But he's clearly neutered at the same time.
Yeah, like I can't tell if that's what he's going for exactly, but it seems like it's what, because he has like the cadence of that, but the accent's wrong.
It's like,
and I have no clue what it's supposed to be.
Someone is trying to do New York gangster, but has never watched a gangster movie. Is what I think is happening.
So we need a remake of this by Martin Scorsese. You're saying
that I would watch. That I would watch. Yeah, I don't know. And then just the thing that it fixes from Mickey is at least there is something of a kidnap plot that leads to Erica needing to pretend to be the princess. Whereas in the Mickey version, it is literally just King Mickey does not enjoy being king and is such a whiny little bitch. And there's happens to be a poor as dirt farmer Mickey that has legitimate concerns and legitimate problems, and he gets to be king for a day, while the other one is just like, oh, life is so much better without all my wealth and influence. And it's just right? Go fuck yourself, Mickey. Like, go fuck yourself. Life's so much better as a have-not. Am I right? Am I right? I can't afford insurance or medication for my family. Life is so much better.
I like not knowing what's going to pay for my next meal. That's wonderful.
Meal? Yeah. I haven't eaten in weeks. I just pick up whatever I can off the ground.
That's some bullshit.
So at least this one corrects that. I think they intentionally had this weird triple kidnap plot. Because Annalise can't help but get kidnapped. She gets kidnapped like 9 times throughout the course of this movie. It almost reaches airplane levels of stupidity. Like each time, like she just literally walks in a room and the room gets locked, and she's like, "Oh, not again."
I love the nuance to which you have graded the plot of Barbie as the Princess of the Pauper. You know, Aurora won, right?
No,
you're over to losing your fucking mind.
She wins. She wins this really round. Funny. What she doesn't know, there's 7 Tremors movies.
No, there's more Barbie movies, bro.
No,
she's got you beat. There's like 50 Barbie movies.
No, her reaction to that movie, I think I win.
I don't know. I think it's pretty close. I will say, I think it's so funny how last week Moulin Rouge was doing so much stuff that specifically pissed me off, and Barbie as the Princess and the Pauper did a lot of things specifically that pissed you off, like with all the like, I know how much you love Aladdin, and like the parallels to that made you kind of like more aggro to it. I
could have just watched Aladdin.
Because like you said, you could have just watched Aladdin. So like I get that perspective as far as like, and it's so similar.
They treated Erica very Aladdin, acting like a prince when he doesn't know what he's doing. Like, yeah.
I see now. Like I didn't pick up on it as I was watching it because I just kind of take the movies at face value and don't analyze the fuck out of them like Ron did.
Now, there's a scene that I literally went full Jeff, what the hell are they doing voice on my couch. Okay, you know why would they do this voice? I did that on the couch when I was watching this.
Okay. Let me get my popcorn. Continue.
What are the 2 idiots that serve Preminger in this?
Tweedledee and Tweedledumbass.
That's I made a reference to that earlier. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
Jeff, can you explain to me?
No, I can't.
No. Can you just lay out how they go about capturing the princess?
Very, very convoluted. They have set up the trap for her cat, right? And that is like meant to lure her out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, that's all I remember.
And then they nab the cat.
Okay.
And that causes Annalise to come looking for the cat. And then
because the cat starts meowing because it's trapped by Tweedledee and Tweedledumbass, and that sucks. No one wants that.
I have a question.
Okay.
There's clearly no one around, right? Annalise is just wandering through an empty castle, right?
Yeah.
The way they lured out the cat was a little toy on a wheel that they pulled a string to lure the cat outside. So they had to go into the castle, into her room, place the toy, then leave, and trick the cat into coming out, all while Annalise was just in the room with them sleeping.
Well, I mean, you've heard them talk. You know they're dumb.
Just grab her. She's sitting right there.
They have to involve the cat.
Why?
They have to involve the cat. Because they gotta have the cat so that the cat can talk to the dog later, and then the dog talks like a cat. Or sorry, the cat talks like a dog. I called the dog cat dog often throughout the movie.
Dude, the one thing that I have been randomly saying out loud for no reason since I've watched this though is, did your cat just bark? I don't know why. That line has made me laugh over and over and over, and I don't know why.
You got a cat in my dog.
you got dog in my cat.
That is really funny. But those guys are just like so fucking obviously you know what's really funny? That trope of the bad guy who would basically like get away with it if he just hired people to help him that weren't idiots. Like, you think about that, it's like such a common trope in fiction.
If you're gonna be evil, don't be cheap also.
Right? Yeah, like hire some quality dudes.
Yeah, budget goons would get you nowhere. You need some quality goons.
Yeah, it's like they always, you're watching the mobster movie, like the Scorsese movie. Who ends up, like fucking up the whole operation? It's like the low-level guy.
It's always the low-level guy.
It's always a low-level guy who flips on the higher-ups to get out of a fucking jail sentence. And it's just like, you gotta hire some smart dudes that are gonna be loyal. You can't hire idiots that are just gonna get caught and, lure out the princess with a little, I was about to say a mouse trap. I guess it's a cat trap, not a mouse trap. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love how angry this movie made you.
I was just kind of like, okay, whatever. It's a Barbie movie, sure. But luring the cat out to lure her out when you were in the room with her, clearly, otherwise that trap would not have worked. That was the
bridge too far.
There's no way that trap works unless you went in the room with her while she's sleeping.
I think we gotta myth bust it, man. I don't know. I can't say for sure we gotta myth bust it. We gotta science the fuck out of this.
It will only follow the path the string is laid out. I don't understand, Jeff.
Just go with it, man. You're along for the ride, man.
I was curious how you were gonna react to. To me, it also had the same tonal issue that Cinderella had that you talked about, where it's like two different movies going on because the stuff with the dog and the cats is almost Looney Tune-esque compared to kind of the rest of what's happening.
It is.
And I almost feel like that was also maybe trying to mimic Cinderella a little bit.
I could definitely, you can see where it is kind of having its influences kind of
like, I understand. I mean, come on. Disney has all the money. If you're going to emulate someone in your movie, it makes sense to emulate Disney. So I'm not saying it's a crime. I'm just saying I'm wondering if, because there's already Aladdin influences, and then that got me looking for others. So like I felt like that was Cinderella. Serafina's design was kind of bothering me, but I think there is a cat out of a Disney movie. I don't know if it's like the Aristocats. I don't know which one came first, if that's older than this movie or not. There's a cat that looks very similar to.
I think it's Aristocats.
Is that the one I'm thinking of with the big bow tied around the back of her neck? There's a cat from a Disney movie that looks very similar to Serafina's design. Also, like, this is older than this property, but anytime Serafina went on a rescue mission, I just kept getting Paw Patrol vibes.
Yeah,
and that's not a dig. I like Paw Patrol.
Yeah, I haven't seen Paw Patrol outside of like the few minutes I've seen of it, like when I would be at your house and you guys would have it on for the kids in the background.
It was for me too. It was for me too.
Actually, it became more for you in the end.
It's still for me. The kids outgrew it.
I just sent you the picture in Discord of the character I think you were thinking of.
Let's see. Oh, in Discord. I'm not used to you using the Discord.
I use the Discord because you usually are thrown off by me not using the Discord. So I get played.
Where, I don't even know. Where did you?
In your DM.
Oh yeah. That's the cat I'm talking about.
Yeah, I can see that being kind of like a visual influence for the design. It's just a lot more. You take that plus GameCube equals Barbie the Princess and the Pauper.
Aristocats are from 1970.
Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah, that was. Like
I did not know that.
Really early.
I've seen it exactly one time, and it was not for me. So I did not realize. One of the older ones. I think it was kind of like from around the same era as Robin Hood, because they were reusing certain animation scenes. That makes sense.
Where they would kind of like have the animation model be the same. If you watch the scenes, like like on the left side of the screen, the right side of the screen is like the side by side. It's like the same animation that's happening. They just have like the character models dropped over it, where they were kind of like reusing it. I think it was around the same time.
I wanted to talk about the designs for the characters and stuff and like the animations, but I honestly can't because I couldn't stop staring at her gargantuan fucking neck.
Who's gargantuan neck?
Annalise and Erica, since they're trying to make them look as much like a Barbie doll as possible.
Oh yeah, it's just 1-to-1.
And they even move that in that limited fashion like a Barbie, because like a Barbie doll, their neck doesn't move. It just at the end of the neck is the ball socket where the head kind of tilts but doesn't really turn. They do that over and over again.
I think it's intentional.
It's very intentional
because they, like you said, like they have their audience, man.
Yeah,
like,
and
they want it to be.
For it.
They want it to be. I mean, you can't blame them for designing it for like 7-year-old kids. I
absolutely can blame them for the design. People don't look like this. People don't move like this.
They're wanting it to like they have. If you're a 5-year-old little kid, though. They look at it and they see the Barbie in their hand.
think if I was 5 years old, this would freak me the fuck out because they are gangly monsters with these giraffe-ass necks. Like, I don't... This is not the way people look or move. Everyone else in the movie is semi-normal. What is wrong with Annalise and Erica? They stand out so bad because of it.
Because they're Barbie, man. They're Barbie. I love how offended you were by this movie's existence. This is just great. I'm having a great time.
I think this movie...
This might be like what you felt last week, just hearing me like lose my shit over Moulin Rouge.
I think this movie is probably... It has to be older than Tangled. It has to be like 10 years older than Tangled. Yeah. But
Tangled was like
2012, 2014, something like that.
This was 2004. I think Tangled was 2010. I will fact check though. Tangled.
Yeah, because Frozen was in between there, so it was Tangled, Frozen, and Moana.
6 years after.
So I don't know what Annalise's main dress is reminding me of, but there is a lot of like Erica's wearing Belle's blue dress. In this picture I'm looking at, she's wearing Belle's blue dress while holding Belle's gold dress. Like, some of it is almost actionable, I feel like. But, yeah, and Jeff, video games in 2004 looked better than this, right?
I mean, the video games have a lot more production value in them. Like, they're designing this to be released on like Nickelodeon and shit. Like they're going to have it be a little hodgepodge project. That way it's just pure fucking profit because their audience couldn't care less. Their audience just sees Barbie and that's enough. They're there. they're sold. They got their viewership over Nickelodeon, just based on the fact that it's fucking Barbie. And obviously they turn a huge profit, or there wouldn't be 50 of them,
I mean, yeah, when you put $10 into the movie, it's gonna make profit.
Yeah, it's just
why
fucking
is
money. It's a great business model. Like, they're smart as fuck. Like, you can tell like how fucking profitable they are because they continue to make them, and their story is typically like a model of a like a classic American novel.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, are they the reverse Disney? Because Disney puts all their money and effort into the movies, and everything else around that, especially the video games, are like some of the worst stuff they put out. Barbie has money for a good movie that looks good, that is original. Like it.
Yeah, you're getting it.
Barbie has money.
It. They're doing the Gosling and.
That's not what I'm talking about. That's meta. I'm talking about taking the concept.
You're talking about like actually like a Frozen representation.
Yes.
Like where it is a legitimate like Disney Pixar type of production.
Exactly. Yes. That's what I mean. Because I don't know, man. Like, I feel like this is almost insulting, but
I find it completely inoffensive. I find it just kind of chilling.
I don't understand how she even moves. She doesn't have any joints. Everyone else in this world has joints on their body.
She's a Barbie, bro. She's got to move like a Barbie.
Well, is she from a parallel universe?
The little girls, they want to look at the screen, and they want it to be Barbie.
And that's
enough for them.
Reason why that can't happen. But like a normal ass person. Like, it's so, the way she moves angered me every time. If everyone in this movie looked and moved the way she did, fine. But it stands out so bad compared to, especially when she's in frame with someone else, because they're normal people.
I didn't even notice they had different animations. I was just...
Most of the time, you know what Barbie's hands look like? That pose that her hand is in?
Yeah.
Most of the time, that is exactly the way Annalise and Erica's hands are, even when they point at things. What it reminds me of... Okay, here's one reason why it bothers me so much. Because Toy Story 3 did it so good. Toy Story 3 is the one that has the Little Mermaid voicing Barbie and Michael Keaton as Ken. And they were toys, and they looked like toys, and they moved like the toys, but they also functioned within the world at the same time. And they turned it into a joke so well that when I watch this and they stand out like a sore fucking thumb against all the other characters.
I think you're comparing apples and oranges. Because like obviously the Pixar production is gonna have like better jokes and better material and better everything because it's a Pixar production.
I get that, but I'm saying there is a way to do it, and it shouldn't have been the people making fun of them.
You can totally have a fully budgeted production of this, but their counterpoint is going to be we can flip these for nothing and make $1 bajillion of pure profit. So why would they put effort into it when their current business model is making them fucking hand over fist money? Like,
right. But that's also the same business model that as a nerd has been abused throughout my entire life. That angers me.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. But it's also, I don't know. I think it's kind of tough too, because with the Barbie movies, like, people are legitimate fans of these as they stand. Like, they have this niche pop culture following behind them.
It's the same mindset as people that watch the Hallmark movies, I'm sure.
Similarly, where they have like where they like the formula, the formula works for them and they're there for it. So
this formula works for me when Disney does it.
I get your idea of like, you can potentially make it like you MCU it. If you make it accessible to everyone, you make even more money if you take it seriously. and you make a like fully fledged production on it instead of pulling like the 90s route with superhero movies and just kind of capitalizing on the IP, and just turning out something, like all those like fucking terrible early 90s superhero movies we got that were just garbage.
If there was one company out there that could put the money into a full-fledged animated film using their own properties, because there's 1,900 different versions of Barbie, like, and the settings and stuff that you could do, like, if there was one company that could put up a movie head-to-head against whatever the latest Disney movie that is out is, it would be Mattel, right? With all the money they make off the Barbie brand. I'm not saying they have the same resources that Disney has, and a lot of people may not realize this. Disney's main focus is not even the movies. The movies for them is what gets you into the park. Their theme park is where all their money is tied up. So the movie side, you could easily compete with a decent product. And this is what I've got, man. This is literally put together in the Diablo 2 engine, which was from like 1998.
I guarantee you Diablo 2 had more money behind it than this did. And I'm just saying, like, you're like, it's not a complete 1-to-1 comparison, because it is a direct to TV Nickelodeon upload, basically. It's not because even video games from back then, you go back and look at like their budgets, like video games are like fucking crazy expensive to make. Even back then they were.
Paw Patrol is not designed much different from this, yet looks so much better, and that is completely so much better.
That is a completely unfair comparison, because baseline animation in the last 20 years has grown exponentially. Like, they can actually make like 3D level material that looks a little bit like in the vein of like a Pixar thing. Like, they're able to make.
No, that is not what Paw Patrol looks like. You're thinking of the movie.
No, I'm saying the baseline for animation has gotten to the point where they can put money into them, and the technology has grown so much where you can have like either like a 3D representation or like a 2D representation that is actually kind of like in the ballpark of the movies. Like, back then, like, they just had no money for this. Like, I guarantee this was made for like nothing.
Yeah, and so is Paw Patrol. Like, I'm telling you,
I'm saying you look at the animation style and what is considered like acceptable for animation right now. It is tremendously better than what it was in the early aughts. Like, you're talking about like that kind of PS2 level of animation. That's like this era. It's not modern animation,
right? And neither Paw Patrol is made modern, but look at that screenshot that I just sent you. Like, it is made in the same vein as these movies.
I can't have that as like a fair comparison in my mind, just because technology's come so far with animation. When I view this is in the era of like GameCube animation when it comes to TV. Like, think back to other animation in this time that had this type of art style. It's all bad because that was just like the technology they had for this stuff. Like we didn't really get good 3D generated animation for movies of this type until like 2008, 2009, because wasn't it kind of like Tangled that kind of like started the revolution for this type of animation? And it was so fucking expensive to make Tangled, whereas like 3D animation was, if you're gonna do it, it's gonna look like a fucking GameCube, cutscene, just because it like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like a 2D style where we had like wonderful 2D animation in the 90s. I don't think we had any like solid 3D animation in the 90s that wasn't like a fully fledged like Toy Story, where it has like Pixar money behind it.
This is 2004, and so is The Incredibles. Like, so is Shrek 2.
Yeah,
is Shark Tale.
All fully budgeted movies from a production company pumping in like millions and millions of dollars into it. That's like what it took to make those movies like passable.
Lego Bionicle looks better than this. How do you explain Lego Bionicle?
Lego Bionicle? I have to look up some screenshots of it right now. 1 second.
Like, I don't understand the major company just pennies for the animation when this could actually work. That's the thing that angers me about it. Is that this?
Yeah, it totally could. Like, and they probably eventually will once they've like
Their
run
ironic
model.
Barbie movie takes off.
Once well that, and then like once like they're kind of like done. But I mean, when it's that successful, the business model where they've made 50 of them, and they make pure fucking profit off of it.
I still can't believe that is the Barbie movie that we are getting, like post MCU. Like the MCU, like money aside, like content aside, they proved that it can work. That you take the thing that the fans know and like, and actually put like production into it, and actually put people that know what they're doing at the helm. And look at the product that you can get. And like DC is trying to figure that out right now.
Yeah,
but
I think it's a little bit
Barbie
different
movie coming up is what we are getting in the post MCU world. And I'm just like,
I think it's a little bit different when you're talking about a superhero product where they can pull from like 80 years worth of material. What are you like? If you look at the Barbie stories, they're typically based off like the Nutcracker and the Prince and the Pauper and the Three Musketeers and A Christmas Carol. It's not like a one-to-one translation where they can just like pull story from the IP. Like you can pull back Captain America's like library of past stories and pull like the Winter Soldier.
I think there's an argument to be made that you could, because Disney's not doing anything any different.
What stories would they be pulling exactly? So you would want like a fully budgeted Barbie movie that's doing like the Three Musketeers. Something like that.
Why not?
Because like the Disney ones are kind of usually taking the story and putting like a little bit of like a twist on it.
Uh-huh.
And it seems like the Barbie ones, it's just more of like almost like one-to-one translation, right?
Yeah, but if you, rather than just adapting something, like I'm talking about, if you get like quality people at the helm, if you get put your money in, not into just the advertising like we always got in the 90s with superhero movies and crap like that.
Yeah.
Actually put quality people at the helm. Well, that was my example with the MCU, was like, who gave two shits about Iron Man before 2008? Yeah,
it was like I was saying earlier, it's like if you MCU it, you can potentially make it accessible to everybody.
Right. Like there's no reason why they couldn't find their own voice the way that Disney puts their own Disney spin on everything, because Disney does it like with Mickey Mouse and his friends all the time. They put their own spin with those same characters again and again and again. You know what you're going in for when you go watch, the Mickey Mouse version of A Christmas Carol or something. Yeah. But at the same time, you're not just getting that story, you're getting those characters. There's no reason why they couldn't find a voice for these characters and do the same thing. And Barbie is a big enough brand. The problem is they don't want to take a risk on it because the toys is where they make their money. And that's why Disney, with all the billions of dollars they have, can't give us a goddamn video game that's worth anything.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason why we don't have an MCU Avengers game. There's no reason why we shouldn't have, a quality like Moana game. Like, okay, if I pitched to you a Moana game, you're like, what? I just sail around an empty ocean on my raft forever? Fuck, there's a Zelda game that you do that in. And for the GameCube, that's what that entire game is. And it's one of the most popular games in the franchise.
You know what would those be like a perfect like video game translation?
By the way, real quick,
Big Hero 6. Big Hero 6 could be made like into infinite video games with like the superhero angle of it.
Probably. Real quick, the thing I was trying to think of another franchise that kind of takes the same characters again and puts them in different kind of original things. In a way, there's an overall meta, but each game has its own story. Zelda does that a lot. You see a lot of the same characters again and again, but they're all in a different timeline. They do things like that a lot. It's not as extreme as like what Disney does, but it's still a thing that they do. And they still do it pretty successfully, because when I run into Talon or Malin, I'm like, hey, I remember you. So, there's no reason why, like, this is what the Barbie movies are when it's Barbie. One of the most popular selling toys of all time.
Yeah, it's also like part of the problem is Disney is more willing to take chances because they're Disney. Toy companies are notoriously scumbag, scum of the earth. They're gonna penny pitch the ever living shit. Like, you ever remember like how so many cartoons were like getting canceled because they weren't funneling enough advertising towards selling toys? Like, those guys are some of the most like money hungry pieces of shit. And like, if they did take a risk and they actually did get good people and did MCU it, like I said earlier, like, you could potentially get more money in the long run if you make it accessible to everyone instead of a niche audience. But right now, that it doesn't seem to be in the plan, unless, like he said, like the Margot Robbie movie just does gangbusters and it kind of like puts it back on the map in like a big
so
way.
Bad.
I watched, I think, like one teaser for it. I don't really know much about it.
That's enough. You don't need to see any more. You got the gist of it. I've seen the trailer.
I like Ryan Gosling, so I'll probably still end up seeing it.
Ryan Gosling so far has made one movie I like, so I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
because I'm sure I'll end up watching it somehow, some way, sometime. But
I mean, I got to appreciate the ballsiness of just how like fucking bizarre that movie is. You know, like they could have done a just pure cookie cutter movie of that, and to make like this like fucking thing that is so meta, it's insane to even like think about. Like, and with like the money behind just the cast alone is kind of like bonkers. Which studio is
I
making
don't
movie?
know. I was gonna look that up.
I will look it up. Yeah, I'm looking it up right now too.
You always
it's Warner Brothers. So Warner Brothers. So it's based on Barbie by Mattel. Their budget $100 million towards it.
Oh god, is Barbie gonna have a spear to Ken's throat yelling, "Why'd you say that name"?
We can only hope.
We can only hope. I feel like it's gonna be one of those movies that's trying to be meta so hard, like it's in on the joke, and that's why those type movies don't work. Like the brilliance of something like Hot Shots versus something like Scary Movie is Hot Shots is not necessarily trying to be in on the joke. Like they're not trying to like, they do a lot of stupid shit, but they're not trying to like wink at the camera and crap. And it feels real winky to me, that trailer for that Barbie movie. It seems real bad.
Yeah, I think it could go either way. I think it could come out and actually be funnier than people would expect it to be, because Margot Robbie is actually kind of like picky about her projects. If you go back and like really look at her career over the last few years, she could have, after like how she kind of like blew up, she could have basically just pulled like a rock and like said yes to literally fucking everything. But she's been pretty choosy with her projects, so there could be something there, or it could be a complete dumpster fire. I think I could go easily either way. I really don't know.
It could also just be, this isn't going to work without like someone like Margot Robbie, so let's just give her Harley Quinn levels of money.
Yeah, but if you look, she hasn't done that yet. So I think that is something that's, if you go back and like look at her career, she completely, like blew up overnight, basically, right?
Yeah.
Typically when that happens, the person says yes to fucking everything imaginable, and you look at their IMDb page and they have like 20 movies over the slew of 5 years of just varying degrees of bullshit because they, kind of like took advantage of the hot streak and were just in fucking everything for a while, and then kind of like fall off the face of the earth because they weren't really careful at managing like their perception, like their brand. And she hasn't done that. She's been pretty choosy with her stuff. So, but I don't know. It could easily be terrible. It could be good. I just we'll wait and see. I think you'll be able to pretty easily tell, based on word of mouth, if it ended up being absolutely terrible. Because if it is terrible, we will hear about it very quickly.
I feel like it'll be one of those like surprising no one type things. Because I feel like when you hear them making a live action Barbie movie, you automatically kind of just like almost just eye roll it automatically, because how could that be good? So I feel like I would do the
Disney route. I would go your route if I was managing it.
Yeah,
but I also I can't fault them, because like you were wanting people to be like risky and like making the movie that fucking meta. that is pretty risky off of $100 million Barbie budget, you know. So
Or
I have to at
it's
least give a
just-
little bit of credit for that.
Or it's just poorly done.
It might be poorly done, but it is a risk making it the way that it is. It is easier to turn a profit or at least make your money back if it is the kind of like cookie cutter traditional format of basically copying Disney. And for them to make it the way it is pretty admirable, I would say, because it looks fucking weird. And I can at least give them that. Like, I do like it when people go out of their way to like take a chance on the tone and make it weird when it didn't have to be. Sometimes you get, sometimes you get good shit like Scott Pilgrim, you know? Like, in what universe does Scott Pilgrim get made? Like, it's kind of crazy. So sometimes you do get like good shit that shouldn't exist. And you're just like, what? Like, have you ever seen any of the comic of Scott Pilgrim?
I've seen panels. I have not read it.
It's crazy. Like, it is crazy, but in a completely different way than that movie. And that movie being as like meta as it is, for whatever fucking reason, just like sings, and it's perfect, and it shouldn't exist. It shouldn't be good, but it's great. You know, like sometimes you just kind of get that kind of lightning in a bottle shit. But we'll see. Anything else you want to chat on about Barbie and the Princess and the Pauper? I think Ron is about to blow a gasket at this point, so I'm just trying to like.
No, I started out angry, now I'm just sad.
I don't. I can't bring myself. I don't have enough investment in seeing Barbie go that route as far as like making movies in that way. To where I'm not invested in like if they want to keep fucking penny pinching and making these movies that have their audience and make money for them, I can't exactly fault them for that because it's been working for 25 years. But it would be nice to see them try something new and try to get some more talent and money behind it. And
oh my god,
so I do agree.
I thought you were just being a dick, but they actually did do Barbie and the Three Musketeers.
Yep. Yeah, I saw it in the IMDB earlier.
Huh.
They done like fucking ton of them as far as like the classic novel translation.
Remember when they
adaptations?
There used to be like two movies that would like two movie studios that seemed to always compete with each other, but they quote unquote were not. It was just coincidence.
You're talking about like Dante's Peak v Volcano?
Yeah, or like Armageddon versus the Frodo one, Deep Impact. Like, come on. How many mermaid versions of Barbie are there out there? And we have like a Little Mermaid movie getting ready to come out. Why not like a week or two before put out? You just GoBots it just a few weeks before. Hit the market with an animated mermaid one of your own.
Yeah,
because that's what the GoBots did. The GoBots weren't great, but they hit the toy market first, and they hit TV first, and that was their whole fucking point. Was to try to beat Transformers. As I knew Transformers was superior. Like, people are gonna think of Disney first, but I mean, come on, kid is sitting there watching Nickelodeon, and a trailer for the goddamn Mermaid Barbie movie comes on. Why not?
Yep.
I think there was a world where if one thing had enough clout to bring in an audience, the kids will bring the parents in, and if it's good, you'll get the parents sticking with it. That's what happens with Disney.
So basically, like what approach you wanted to see was the Lego movie. Basically, like what they did with the Lego
think
movie
this
and
is
Lego
better
Batman.
than the Lego movie.
You don't like the Lego movie?
The Lego movie sucks, dude.
The Lego movie's good.
The Lego movie's
Lego
bad.
Batman is also good.
The Lego Batman character is good. I don't know if I could sit through a whole movie of just that.
Oh, it's really good. I'm surprised you don't like the Lego movie. You're like the one person I've ever met that doesn't like the Lego movie.
I like the song. Well, it also pisses me off at the end that it was all just a metaphor for the kid and his dad, and Will Ferrell's a shit apparently. I don't know.
You gotta have some family drama metaphor at the end.
They pull you out of the movie to have a soap opera at the end, and I'm just like, why?
Yeah, that's pretty lame. But I still like the gist of the Lego parts of it. But that's what you want though, is kind of like people bringing in like actual like talent and making it an actual. I know you don't like it personally, but people love that movie and it was hugely successful.
I like the song.
So that's the model that you want them to take, and that's a similar Barbie and Mattel aren't as like openly franchisey as like Lego is. Like Lego's kind of like Funko, like they'll just like fucking branch out and do anything. just like give us fucking every IP known to man.
Is there is it a Funko movie or a Funko game? I don't remember.
I do not know. I think it's a game.
It might be a game. I can't remember. There's something Funko coming out, and I heard you squee from 30 miles away.
I like owning Funkos, but I don't have like any kind of attachment to watching a Funko movie or playing a Funko game.
If it's like good though, why does Funko get it and Barbie doesn't?
Yeah, it's a good question. Like it is.
If it's good, whatever it is they're putting out.
The thing is, if they spend $100 million on that Meta one and it doesn't work and it's
it'll never
box
happen
office
again.
flop, it will literally never happen.
Yeah.
It will always be, just purely constructed for, like a profit formula like they have right now. So they have a lot riding, surprisingly, on that movie, which is kind of admirable because if you have like one shot to make it work as an IP and you go the meta route and it's fucking weird, like kudos for the ballsiness. Gotta give them that. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a wrap for our Barbie as a Princess and the Pauper talk, unless you had any other tidbits you want to talk about.
No, I think that's about it. The one
just that 75-minute rant that was about it. You got your talking points.
The song at the beginning is the first time around I was just kind of like but the second time around I was like I don't know, I kind of like the first song.
Yeah, at least this has original material. As far as the songs.
Like the weird. There's a really weird cutaway they do in the middle. It's not really a cutaway. There's a really weird edit that they do in that song that is actually really cool that I don't think I've ever seen before.
Unpopular opinion, and this will definitely make Chris never speak to me again. I think there is more effort put into Barbie as a Princess and the Pauper than Moulin Rouge when it comes to the music. Because like you can't fucking tell me like, you know what? Every song in here is original, and they're actually trying. It's not a Madonna song.
It's
not
original.
A Bowie
I don't know
song.
that they're trying.
They're trying if it's original. Period. There's one original song in Moulin Rouge, and it was one they had written for a movie 10 years prior. There is no original material as far as songs in Moulin Rouge.
I think the songs in Moulin Rouge are better.
It is, yeah. You want to know why? Because they're from Elton John and Bowie and people you've heard of.
But
nothing they made that's original.
Elton John and Bowie and people you've heard of didn't dictate how and when to use it and what parts to use and how the medleys were constructed and things like that. And how to change the tone. I still have so much more respect.
I still have so much more respect for people making their own stuff than people taking a Police song, taking Madonna, taking Bowie, taking Queen, taking every fucking pop song known to man for the last 30 years and crowbarring it into what is supposed to be a standard like musical to me.
Nah.
Because you have like their main song is original. So like if they're making their main song original, why aren't there more? Why is it all focusing on cover songs? It's a weird choice to me. I always will pull for people doing original material over covers of other songs when it comes to
not if the original material is bad. I won't.
I respect the effort so much more than fucking really we're gonna have a 5-minute Like a Virgin cover in Moulin Rouge when this is supposed to be like somewhat serious at this point in the movie because like fucking Nicole Kidman almost gets raped at one point. It's like, oh, okay. We're gonna have that.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, that scene later was a little weird, but I mean,
it is straight out of like left field.
But that song, that whole scene with that song was pretty good though. I don't know. I like that. I like that better than what this was doing.
Yeah, it's just like different strokes for people because I always prefer people just making their own stuff.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that there isn't creativity in using something that's already made either, though. I feel like that's discounting a little too much.
It is discounting it a little bit, but when you are basically making this for pennies and they tried, and that movie is skating by on what they're able to acquire.
I feel like they just made it for
Moulin
pennies.
Rouge. Like I guarantee you, like fucking 80% of the budget in Moulin Rouge was just paying for those fucking songs because there's so many songs. There's so like the soundtrack. If you just look at the names of the people in the soundtrack, it's fucking nuts what they were able to acquire as far as just how many famous songs are in that movie. It's bonkers. But yeah, this is not about Moulin Rouge. This is about Barbie. So back on topic. I would much rather watch this than Moulin Rouge any fucking day. I would watch this 20 times before I watched Moulin Rouge a second time.
Nah. I mean, this wasn't painful. I've sat through enough painful bullshit. Like, have you ever seen PJ Masks?
Like half of Tammy and the fucking T-Rex? Tammy and the T-Rex has some of the worst, like, I want to punch something moments of any movie I've seen in so long.
The first half of Tammy and the T-Rex makes me just want to grab someone by the nuts and not let go awkwardly for like 10 minutes. How long was that scene? Like 10 minutes, it felt like?
It never ended. It's still going to this day. It's still going.
Paul Walker is buried next to the guys that are still holding each other's nuts.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What a month for movies, man. We've had some bangers, man. This has been great. I've had fun. I mean, I didn't have fun watching Moulin Rouge and half of Taming the T-Rex, but it's been fun. It's been fun to talk about them.
I don't hate this movie. It just makes me sad because it's Barbie. Like
you see it as the opportunity cost, which is fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's totally valid because they could, they could in a hypothetical universe that is probably not going to happen after the summer once that movie comes out, because I feel like that movie might have some like good aspects to it, but it's so meta, like general like Gen Pop isn't going to react properly to it because it is such a roll of the dice with its tone as far as like it could pop off and be a huge summer blockbuster.
I don't think
one of those movies that pops up out of nowhere and makes like $1 billion. You know how there's sometimes like random movies where you're like, how the fuck did that make $1 billion?
Yeah,
it happens all the time.
But I feel like this is a movie that would be made in the aughts. I feel like it's in the wrong decade.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know what to make of it. I'm really curious.
It's a real strange, and depending on their marketing team, it may be nothing like the trailer, and then that can either help it or hurt it.
Yeah, who knows? I'm fascinated to see how that movie performs, though, and how people are receiving it, like once it comes out. As far as, you know what? Something that could also happen. It comes out and is better than people expect, and is a critical darling, and Gen Pop hates it.
Yeah,
it could be like a Last Jedi type of thing where the critics, love it. They like that it's something different. They like that it is kind of making it its own voice instead of just copy pasta of the IP like so many things do. And because it's not, because it's so far out of left field, Gen Pop hates it. That's something I could see happening. But who knows? We will find out. I think it comes out like July, so it's pretty soon. I'm fascinated to see how it all turns out, though, because it is a very, very bizarre choice to make the movie the way that it is. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I will do our sign off, and then in a minute I'll turn it over to Ron so he can announce what our Friends and Family bonus episode is going to be about. I'm curious to see what that's gonna be. If you like to follow the show more, and why wouldn't you after hearing Ron pop all of the blood vessels yelling about a Barbie movie for 80 minutes? Like, I've had a great time. We're on Twitter at SPR Filmcast. If you have a question or prompt for Ron and myself, you can always email us, screenplayrewind@gmail.com. Any ratings or reviews on the platform that you happen to catch us on always helps, as well as likes and or subscriptions on the YouTube channel. Always wonderful. And share us out to your friends. Ron, what is our next pick going to be?
Well, like I said at the beginning, I didn't know which one you want to do. If you wanted to save the one he changed his answer to for like an anniversary show, because we have a 3-year anniversary, I believe it is, coming up soon.
Oh shit, yeah, we started in
October 31st, right? Yeah.
Yeah, as if 2020 didn't have enough bad things happening in it, we had to have our podcast start.
Wow. I'm hurt. I don't even know what
Ron
to say.
Ron is speechless.
I don't even know what to say.
This show is coming back next week with Bobby. He's a new co-host.
I'm going to go start my own podcast with Blackjack and Hookers.
Screenplay stop. I I want whichever one that he most wants to cover on the show, because I don't want to like pick for him. What do you think he most wanted covered?
I think
on the show?
It would be The Thing from Another World.
Okay.
From 1951.
Okay. I like that. I don't think I've ever actually watched that all the way through.
I've never watched a second of it.
I think I've seen some bits and pieces of it on YouTube, but that's a cool pull. So does he have like appreciation for it, or was it purely just because it's like a callback to our first episode that we did?
Scared the ever-loving shit out of him as a kid.
I love that pick. That's awesome.
My dad was born in 1948, so I don't know how he saw this movie in theaters. It had to have been re-released at sometimes. There's no way he saw it when he was 3. Okay. But he saw this in theaters, and my dad saw he saw the Universal monsters in theaters at the time, things like that. So Hounds of Baskerville scared the shit out of him. The Mummy, the Wolfman. But The Thing from Another World is always kind of his favorite out of all those old movies. And he has zero appreciation for the Kurt Russell thing.
Really? He doesn't like it?
Is it just zero appreciation?
Is this purely because like that story to him is that original version?
That story is for the 1951 version only.
You know what? I respect it, because the first experience you have like with a property, means, it's like with you and Batman, like Michael Keaton Batman, like is Batman for you, outside of like obviously Kevin Conroy and the animated stuff, but your kind of first exposure to it means a lot when it comes to what ends up being, like your version of that character in your brain.
I am so angry.
That story.
So angry. I'm going to give Warner Brothers DC my money to go to a theater for that Flash movie. I cannot
It looks so good, though. It looks so good.
I am so livid at them and disappointed in myself that I can't just wait to hate it on HBO.
You cannot be disappointed in yourself for wanting to go see Michael Keaton again as that character. You cannot be. That's totally fair.
Have you seen that second trailer yet?
I have not, and I'm probably going to avoid it just so I have more good shit that's not spoiled in the movie, because I don't think I've seen. So I saw a Flash trailer in front of John Wick 4, but I think it was one of the like first versions of it, because I didn't see Zod ripping him out of the Batmobile or Batwing, whatever you said that happened, and I haven't seen that scene yet.
Yeah, that's in the second trailer. That's the thing that is just mind-blowing, because it's not Zod, it's Zod. It's the Man of Steel Zod. It's Michael Shannon ripping Michael Keaton. The Battle of Michaels. Why did you say that name?
Michael v. Michael, Dawn of Michael.
He rips him out of the Batwing and tumbles to the air and opens his wings and glides. That version didn't glide. He used zip lines. He's upgraded. Jeff.
That's pretty dope. I'm excited for that movie.
I'm so angry, but so happy.
It's gonna be awesome. And at the very least, the Michael Keaton scenes will be awesome. Everything else could be a dumpster fire, but if it is, I don't fucking care.
It kind of feels like they were afraid it was. It seems like there's an awful lot of Michael Keaton in that movie.
I think there is an awful lot of Michael Keaton in the trailers, because Michael Keaton as Batman is a lot more sellable than the DCU.
Than Ezra Miller's press.
They realize especially so like Ron, like you're making that trailer. Are you gonna have more scenes of A Michael Keaton, or B Ezra Miller, who literally should have been fired from the production?
You want to get nuts? Let's do Ezra Miller.
Yeah. So I think there's going to be a lot more Flash in the movie itself. I understand them selling in the other direction, because the DCU is a dumpster fire. They couldn't even fucking make Wonder Woman 2 work when the first Wonder Woman was just like a slam dunk of a movie. Like, how do you fuck that up going forward? I don't know. If you would like to listen to Ron and I rant for an hour and a half again, go listen to our Wonder Woman 2 episode.
Oh my God.
We lose our shit because that movie is fucking trash.
That movie
is atrociously bad.
Insultingly bad.
It reaches almost first 45 minutes of testicular standoff and Taming the T-Rex bad. And that is a special level of bad. that is rare. Yeah. Just real quick, what was the other option that he was kind of spitballing? I'm curious.
The Double.
The Double.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
From 2011, starring Richard Gere and Topher Grace.
Double. I'm not familiar with that.
I was not either. And then I was like, okay, I kind of like one of them. And Richard Gere has only made one movie I care for. So I don't know. But the more he talked about it and the more he explained it to me, the more I was in.
What was that fucking movie with he made I don't really care for Richard Gere either. He made one really good movie with Edward Norton in the 90s. I think it was like a legal drama. I don't fucking remember the name of it though.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, I'm not familiar. You know what? We got to have your dad on this more. I like the deep cuts a lot. If you have a movie on here that I've never heard of, like fucking kudos. Because like usually I know shit about movies that I haven't seen from 50 years ago. I'm just like, why is that occupying space in my brain? I couldn't fucking tell you. But.
The Double's from 2011 and stars Richard Gere, Topher Grace, and Martin Sheen. And they said it's kind of the last thing. You were to say
Martin Short.
Right. I said it's kind of the last thing that Richard Gere has done, basically.
I guess he did kind of like. Did he officially retire, or he just kind of like drift off and stop making shit?
I don't know. Like, I never understood the officially retiring. I get the ones like Judi Dench did, right? Because she has Alzheimer's, but. She's getting to the point she couldn't remember her lines, but
yeah, it's also with Jack Nicholson started to have problems remembering the lines too, I believe.
Yeah, so I get those, but actors that officially retire, I never understand that because you could just not work for a while, and if the opportunity comes up, like the opportunity of a lifetime, or someone's just like, "Hey, you want to do a comeback? And well, here's this dump truck full of money. We'll just leave here." Like, I don't know why you would officially retire.
The only thing I can think of as to why you would do that is maybe there's somebody who handles a lot of responsibilities that would typically be their agent, and they just want to kind of be like left the fuck alone. You know, they don't want people reaching out to them about shit because they're just kind of like done with it.
Who wouldn't want to say that they represent Jack Nicholson? You know,
I don't know. You know, well, some of them act. You know, like Bill Murray, like has never had an agent. Like some of them just like don't like it. Some of them, just, you know.
But his advantage is he's Bill Murray.
Yeah, Bill Murray is Bill Murray, and
like no one enjoys being themselves more than Bill Murray.
You know who could also be their own agent? Jeff Goldblum. He could be his own agent.
Absolutely. I think Nicolas Cage.
You gotta be like,
too.
You gotta be like Nick. You gotta be like that level of fucking weird. You're like that level of icon,
but like likable weird. You know, like Jeff Goldblum is very, very strange, but you don't hear anything about Jeff Goldblum. Everything you hear about him is harmless. You know,
it's because he took care of all the he takes care of all the witnesses constantly
because he's got chaos theory nailed. He can make every prediction.
Yeah.
It's just another one that strikes me as likable weird, at least so far, is Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, I love Jake Gyllenhaal, dude.
Yeah,
Thinking about. I could go watch Nightcrawler again right now and be depressed for the.
I don't know. I can watch that movie again.
I could go watch Nightcrawler again right now and then be depressed for another month. So let's fucking go.
I like that movie, but I don't know if I can watch that movie again.
Oh, it's so good though. Especially when you watch it the second time, knowing how dark it gets, you're just like, oh man, I'm already sad. Let's go.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh man.
The Thing from Another World, which the reason I didn't know if you wanted to save it for a anniversary show or something is because, I mean, we fucking did the remake for like our first episode.
Yeah. What's funny? I hadn't ever even considered that idea of covering the original one. So I'm really glad that he picked that because I had never even given it a second thought. Because like when I'm thinking of like movies for this show, like my options I'm thinking of and like rummaging around in my brain typically don't go back to like the original versions of stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because like what's weird is like, you know, like the way that he, you know, views that original Thing as the Thing. I have a fucking poster of the Kurt Russell one on my wall, you know, like that is that story to me, to where like the original one doesn't even like pop up as an option in my brain. So I'm really curious to go back and watch it now, you know, like as someone who loves that remakes so much, and just kind of like see like the inspirations, like what kind of got disregarded because we need to make this movie accessible for, you know, like 1982 versus like what is homaged, because Carpenter was like a huge movie nerd, so there's got to be like some cool Easter eggs and nods to it.
As he was describing this movie to me, I'm like, "Are you sure you're not thinking of the Kurt Russell one?" And then eventually he gets to a point, and I'm just like, "Yeah, that didn't fucking happen in the Kurt Russell one." So, yeah,
Yeah, I'm excited.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah, I love the deep cut.
I had it up and I accidentally closed it, but I'm pretty sure it's just for rent in the usual places. And I think Turner Classic Movies has it also. The
Gotcha.
thing from why is the title so long?
It is available for subs through TCM, Tubi, and DirecTV, and outside of that is accessible through Apple, YouTube, Amazon, the works.
$2.99. Come on. What's your excuse for not watching it?
Hey, also Amazon, why are you $3.19? Why am I getting a 20-cent upcharge for written through Amazon, huh?
Are
Bezos? We gotta get Bezos another fucking boat.
Are you
Is that what this 20 cents is all about?
What are you looking at? Are you looking at Just Watch?
Just Watch, looking at the HD versions. Apple, YouTube, and DirecTV are $2.99, and you look at fucking Amazon, and they have a 50-cent upcharge to buy it, or a fucking 20-cent upcharge to rent it, and I'm curious as to why.
Okay, so I was just looking. Okay, it defaults to best price.
Gotcha,
so I was like, Amazon is $2.49, bro. What are you talking about? It's 50 cents cheaper.
Is that so? They have it cheaper on the SD, so they got to upcharge on the HD.
I don't think. No, they do have it on standard. I was gonna say I don't think the others have it on standard, but they do. Anyways, it's so weird. $2.99. Just rent it. It's good,
but not from Amazon. Save your 20 cents. Fuck
yeah, not
guys.
from Amazon. Fuck Amazon.
Yeah, fuck Amazon, dude. I've just transitioned to basically renting everything from Apple because the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. You know. I'll give Apple someone at Apple. I will pay for them to have a yacht. I'm not paying for Bezos to have a second yacht. I guess that's my line. Yeah. I would say this has been fun. I've had fun. Ron, I think needs to seek like therapy now after this Barbie movie he was subjected to. So he's
like I said,
do you have a little bit of catharsis? Having talked about it at least, got some.
Yeah, I was wanting to talk about it. I was wanting to talk about it after watching it, so I feel better. But like I said, I didn't hate it. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen. My kids watch far worse shit. Yeah, it's
just like what we talked about. It's the opportunity cost, which is totally fair. You want them to make a more fully fledged, realized version. You want them to actually take advantage of like their potential.
This feels like it's about 45% of the way there. You know, like they could have polished it some more. They could have done some more writing on the script. It feels like it's about 45% of the way to that point. Yeah. I don't know. It makes me sad.
I think it makes for interesting discussions though, because it is fascinating.
We got an hour and a half out of this, so yeah.
It is fascinating to look back at the last 25 years and realize how many properties and like IPs aren't being utilized at all.
Yeah.
And then some of them, you know, like you wouldn't expect the Lego movie to be as successful as it is, because like, what the fuck do you do with the Lego thing? You know, I know you said you didn't like it, but like it is objectively like successful as a property now based on the money they fucking raked in on that shit.
They learned that lesson early on because, dude, those Lego video games were huge.
Oh yeah, I can't stand playing them. Some of my friends would like. You know, like, yeah, have you ever done the split screen shit for that game where like the split screen
That's the only way we
disconnects? The split screen would disconnect and then reconnect when you got closer.
Yeah,
that
it was
broke
great.
My brain, and I would have like a fucking nosebleed.
It blew
that shit happen for
my brain the first time I saw that, because everyone always did it like Sonic the Hedgehog rules, right? Sonic gets so far, Tails dies, and then rejoins him. Being able to walk away from each other and go anywhere in the level separately was incredible.
For whatever reason, the animation of the screen disconnecting and reconnecting over and over and over again broke my brain.
Bro, my wife and I 100%ed so many of those games, I don't even notice it at this point.
I can see that. I didn't play them for very much. I just kind of would dabble if like a friend or like my brother would like invite me to play them, and I just couldn't get used to it, and I just it just whatever. You know, like, have you ever hear like people having like motion sickness off of like one specifically weird thing? Like that was it for me. I just couldn't I literally could not play it.
Anything that spins. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 about made me vomit 4 or 5 different times in the theater.
Oh, really? I guess, yeah. We haven't seen that yet. I gotta go check it out here soon.
You know how you have that? What was it that you were hating? A camera technique. Is it? Oh, the Lord of the Rings.
The low frame rate.
Low frame rate thing.
Yeah, jagged editing.
The jagged little editing. For me, it's anything that spins. I hate as much as you hate that because I have self-diagnosed vertigo issues.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah, that would be problematic.
For whatever reason, I think there are more shots in Guardians 3 of everything fucking spinning than there are lens flares in that first Star Trek movie.
Really? That's a bold statement.
Like, dude, I got sick. There was one moment I had to look completely away from the screen and look at the wall.
Wow.
How
did you react? We're getting a little long on time. Just really quickly, how did you react during the like 30 seconds that 3D movies were a thing? Could you watch 3D movies without being sick, or did it also make you sick? That was fine.
That was fine.
See, they didn't make me like ill or anything. But what like would trip me out is how like fucking dark the movie became because he'd wear the fucking glasses.
Yeah. So I was used to IMAX 3D, which came out of the screen into the audience, but that effect only works because the entire wall is the screen. There's nothing around it for your brain to detect the image being fake. But movies have different formats, so they have a masking around the screen, and they cannot do that type of 3D. So those movies go into the screen like a diorama, and that effect, well, to me, was just almost 2D. It was just watered down 3D because I had spent 9 years as an IMAX projectionist looking at IMAX 3D that they didn't even look 3D to me.
Gotcha.
So,
yeah, I'm glad that fad went away like fucking overnight.
Remember 3D TVs? I know exactly one guy, and it's my father-in-law that has one.
Man, I just think back to like, and you know what's really makes it even more funny is that people that were sold on it were so fucking sold on it. Like, this is the future, man.
Yeah.
It's like, nah.
I'm good.
Nah, I don't know. It's kind of in like a landfill with HD DVD
and and ET.
And yeah, the ET Atari cartridges or whatever. Oh man, you remember HD DVD?
I do. I just listened to a whole podcast about it.
What a terrible fucking name! Like, no wonder Blu-ray won. At least Blu-ray is a catchy fucking name. HD DVD.
What I didn't realize,
get the fuck out of here,
is that HD DVD was using all Microsoft codecs all the time, and Sony like licensed actual codecs for the video and the audio and shit. So
you know what's also just like so funny? I just real quickly I googled HD DVD just to like look at the boxes again.
Oh
and
god!
Some fucker on eBay is selling a lot of 8 HD DVD movies, including the Matrix trilogy. Who the fuck would buy HD DVDs in 2023?
You know what's funny?
Is it a collector's item at that point? I guess
a lot of people rip them because they're so easy to rip. Because if you have that Xbox external drive, you just plug it into your PC and it'll work, and you can rip them.
That's wild. I hadn't even thought of that, but that makes sense.
Yeah, the decoder chip is in that drive, and you can just plug it in your computer.
It's like the Kia Boys. It's that easy to steal. Like they're gonna fucking do it.
The fucking Kia Boys. Now I know we gotta go.
Yeah, we gotta go because we could talk for 3 hours about the Kia Boys and how fucking amazing and terrible the Kia Boys existing are.
They said in that podcast that there's a Kia Boys YouTube documentary. I need to look that up. We gotta go. I gotta look up the Kia Boys documentary.
We're gonna go watch that. We've co-opted the next episode. It is a review of the Kia Boys YouTube. documentary.
The Thing from Another World. Go watch it.
Yeah, Thing from Another World next week. Thanks again to Ron's dad for submitting a kind of last second entry. We really appreciate it. Yeah, so that's gonna be awesome. Check out Thing from Another World on all the platforms we talked about, and we will be covering it next week. Have a good night, everybody. I about disconnected from the Discord instead of stopping my recording.
Dude, I so would have left that sound effect in.
This is the last thing you hear. Is like,